Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi. Waiting for everything to sync. Waiting for some people to join me. Hello there. Hello. Comments. Waiting for some people to join me. Hi, everyone. This is Marina Shepelsky. Hello. I'm going to check if I'm going live because for some reason I'm not seeing anyone watching. That's really weird. This is Marina Shepelsky, immigration attorney. And strangely, I don't see anybody. No, I'm here. I see that it's going live online. All right. I see more people are joining. Please write your questions in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them at the end of the show. And our show will be about 30 minutes, so we will have plenty of time. Oh, finally, my friends are saying hello. Omar says hello. TD, welcome, Queen. Oh my God, did you guys hear the terrible news? The Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, has died, has passed away. I hope she's with her love of her life, Prince Philip, whom she married in 1947. They had a dream wedding despite the fact that their country was just recovering from World War II. I watched this amazing documentary about Queen Elizabeth and her wedding and her dress. And basically, she was in the war, she was helping the troops. She was such a good lady, such a good citizen of Great Britain. And then she met the Greek prince, Prince Philip, and they fell in love. And I believe it was a love match. And he was in the Navy, and he was a very good looking, really tall young man. But the war just ended, and she did not want to have a big, lavish wedding. But the country begged her. Everybody in England wanted the princess, who was going to become a queen, and she shortly did, to have a great wedding. They wanted her to have the dress of her dreams, and everybody contributed. I understand everyone sent a quid or whatever they could. I'm saying hello, good morning to my friends. And at the end, she had an amazing dress. It was put together by this designer in 3 months instead of 9. Usually it used to take 9. And this wedding was the event of the decade, and maybe in some ways even of 20 or 30 years ahead for England, because people in England needed that cheering up. They needed that positive vibe, that message of hope that life goes on after so many deaths in World War II. The world was suffering, and this wedding between Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip was the dream for so many people, and they loved her. She was a loved queen. Everyone loved her kids. She raised them to be in. Hi, Yuri. How are you? She raised her kids to be in a life of service. She served people in Britain and all over the world. She was a true hero, a lady, I don't even know, a paragon, like such an example to follow. She lived a long life. It wasn't always good. There were a lot of hard times. Like I told you, she was in the war helping the troops, and she outlived her husband by only a couple of years. She had her son, who is now the king, get divorced. Of course, for the royalty, this was not great. But she lived a great life, and um, she had dealings with, I think I was watching today, 13 presidents of the United States. And there's only one she didn't meet, I think Lyndon Johnson, but everyone else met her. She rode horses with President Reagan. She met the Clintons. She sat next to Obama in events. A lot of good things happened to her. And yesterday, our U.S. Capitol lowered the American flags in mourning for the great Queen. America loved Queen Elizabeth. There's a new prime minister now. In England, she's only like in the office for a few days, and she also spoke about how much of a loss her death was to the country. Let's get right into our own immigration news, right? I see people are watching finally. Thank God. Omar is asking me a question. I will get back to you, Omar, at the end, I promise. So, what happened with immigration this week? First of all, big change. Announcement yesterday in the afternoon. Department of Homeland Security makes the rules for affidavits of support and the public charge rules easier. Now, what the heck is a public charge rule? It's a special term that says that new immigrants, especially people coming in through family unification or marriage, need to be supported by their U.S. relatives so they don't become dependent on the U.S. government. We don't want people to come in who will need help from the government. We want people who will be self-sufficient. They will support themselves. They will not need public benefits. So public charge meaning this person is going to have to be supported by the public. The public is going to be in charge of this new immigrant. We don't want that. So it's a rule against public charge. And that's been on the books since immigration law was created. I actually did some research on this. I think from like 1920s, that was already in the laws. And for a long time, USCIS was following rules from 1999. There was like a memo about how to make decisions about public charge, what they should look at, what not. But then Trump came in 2019 and changed in 2019. He made changes through his administration, created some crazy new form, made this really long, complicated evidence list for the things you had to provide if you filed an I-130 petition for a mom or brother, what you have to prove to show they're not going to be a public charge. Not just the affidavit of support sponsor, but the immigrant themselves had to prove it. Of course, as soon as Biden came in, he got rid of that, but it wasn't on the books. Finally, Department of Homeland Security made a law out of it and eased up the requirements for public charge requirements, because they said a lot of people are not going to be able and are not able to bring their family here because these rules are so draconian and hard. And now that we've lived through this pandemic, it just doesn't make sense anymore. So let me just tell you real quick what the new rules are, and they start to be in effect as of December 23, 2022, this Christmas, this year. So number one, if you used Medicaid, it is not a problem anymore, unless it was like for long term, like a nursing home and rehab. But even then, I would think there's exceptions. Basically, Medicaid use, not a problem. Free child care, health insurance, not a problem. SNAP benefits, that's usually like food and nutritional programs for adults and kids, not a problem. If you had like coverage for immunizations or testing, not a problem. So a lot of, and housing, like subsidized housing, using housing that's subsidized by the government, like Section 8 or living in special projects, no longer a problem. So these are pretty common for immigrants to use. And in the past, people were afraid to file for any green card or immigrant visa because they used Medicaid, because they used some sort of a benefit like that. But now it is no longer a problem. So I'm very happy with this rule, and it's the biggest piece of news this week, frankly, right? The next thing I want to talk about is that there's a new immigration court. A new immigration court will open in the city of Sterling in the state of Virginia and will have 19 new immigration judges. Pretty big. This is near Washington, D.C. Virginia is not that far from D.C. And this will be sort of in that area. A new court opening with 19 new immigration judges. Next piece of news that I want to talk about is that there's still about 21 days left of the 2022 fiscal financial year. Now, USCIS and Department of Homeland Security goes by fiscal years when determining the visa quota and so on. It's not January 1st to December 31st. It's October 1st to September 30th. So this year, they still have about 21 days left to push for issuance of the remaining work visas. And the quota has to be filled for this year. Of course, huge delays because of the pandemic across the board. So USCIS says they're working overtime, making a final push to meet the deadline of issuing all the visas they have to issue for people who were approved for the fiscal year 2022. Now, changes in forms, you guys. New form I-589, a new edition of the form. It's not a new form, it's just updated form. And a new form I-765. Form I-589 is your application for asylum, withholding of removal, and convention against torture. It's for refugees and people asking for asylum. Please make sure you use the latest edition of the form. And my insider tip, and it's not much of an insider tip, but my advice to you is, as much as you can, open your USCIS account. It's called My USCIS account. It's your private account with USCIS. Add all your forms there. Make sure all your receipt numbers are there. And if you have to file this new form, Form I-765, the updated version is already going to be there, and it gets processed much quicker than if you send it by mail. All right. So if you can, use the My USCIS account and your stuff will be processed much quicker. Make sure you use the form edition that's on the website as of today, right? If you're filing today. If you're going to be filing October 1st, check on October 1st if the edition you're using is the new edition. That's all the news I had for today. And now I'm happy to get into your questions. By the way, find me on Instagram. It's Shepelsky Attorney. Follow us on Instagram. I always have really good pictures and videos there, and stories of our success stories, interesting news, things that happen every day in our office. You'll meet our team, because I kind of feel bad that you guys don't get to see our team. We have a whole number of people working in our office who are mostly all immigrants. I think we have one woman in our office who's not like a first or second generation immigrant. Everyone else is an immigrant or was born here to parents of immigrants. So we are all in this thing together with you. I'm an immigrant. I wasn't born here. I was born in Ukraine. So if you go on our Instagram account and you find us, Shepelsky Attorney, at Shepelsky Attorney, you will see the pictures of our people who work with us. We have every age, every background, every race, so it's really great. Omar says, one question. He found out that his wife didn't finalize her previous marriage divorce, and she didn't tell him at all about it. They already sent in the case, and he wants to know if he can qualify for VAWA. Absolutely. If your wife lied to you, if she didn't finalize her divorce for the first marriage, that means when she married you, indeed, she's a bigamist. She's married to two people at the same time. That's, first of all, illegal. Second of all, the fact that she lies to you and led you on through your case does qualify you for VAWA. And I'm sure if I talk to you or our attorneys talk to you and ask you all the questions that we ask, there's going to be other problems. So give us a call. My phone number is on the bottom of the screen, and you can, and also in the description for this video, you can give us a call, schedule a consultation to talk more about this. Sachin says, hello, good morning. Good morning. Imran says he applied for his green card application at the National Benefit Center in May 2022, got a request for evidence in May. So they asked for more paperwork from him. And then he didn't hear anything about his work permit and further status. When will he hear about this? So you go to uscis.gov, and I'm going to do it for you right now. You go to uscis.gov. You go to check your case status. And on the bottom is processing times, okay? You can visit the page for processing times. The form you filed is I-485, application to register permanent residence. Then I assume it's family-based, and it's in the National Benefit Center now. But for example, I don't know where your city is. Let's say you're in Charleston, South Carolina, for example. I look at the processing times. It says if you live near the office of Charleston, South Carolina, and you will be interviewed there, it's going to take you about 17 months from when you filed. But when you scroll down, you can even put in the date of your receipt, what your case was received, and then it will give you an inquiry date, meaning the date on which you can check with them what's going on with your case. How delayed is it? Until then, you can't call, they will not respond. So if you filed in May 2022 and you live, for example, in Charleston, South Carolina, you should be able to get an interview in 17 months, which is about October next year, October 2023. Now, the work permit, you asked me about the work permit. If I choose I-765 from the same list, I go to the same page, and then I look on based on a family case. So I go to based on a pending I-485 adjustment of status application, the category C9. The field office is the National Benefit Center. It's going to take you about 8.5 months from May of 2022 to get your work permit. And we're talking about February 2023, you should hear from them. You should get your work permit by February. TD is asking, my question is, I don't know who she, came here adoption with her aunt 5 years ago. We talked to a couple of lawyers, but they said you cannot apply for asylum. The only thing is married. Is that true, Miss Marina? She needs help. So call our office. I don't really understand the question. I'm so sorry. Call us for a consultation. We can decide then. Christine says, good morning, Miss Marina. Thank you for the great job you're doing. Thank you. Ashken says, how long does it take for I-130 petition for green card holders? Depends where you live, Ashken. So if you write for me the date you filed your I-130 and I-485, I can look it up for you, or you can do it yourself. I'm going to post in the comments here the link where you can check the dates, the processing times. Okay, here's the link. I hope you see it. I just posted it. All right. Next question. Kursoon Dadoshi says, any updates on VAWA? Do we see any moving in cases? VAWA is taking about 2 years and 6 months. So it's about 2.5 years from time of filing. Let me check if there's anything new, actually. You know, I don't check every day, but let's check now, since I think VAWA is a very common question here. VAWA is only done through Vermont Service Center, 26 months. So it hasn't changed. It is still 26 months from the date of filing that you should expect for VAWA to take. All right. Next question. What happens if USCIS accused you on your green card application without proof and says you're not eligible for adjustment of status? It depends what they're accusing you of. They usually don't just say, you know, they just like randomly accuse people. There has to be a reason. If it's marriage fraud and they don't believe you because you didn't do well at your interview, it's a marriage fraud denial. Give us a call. I will have to read, or somebody in our office, one of our lawyers will have to read the denial letter and see what we can do with it. Yuri says, dear Marina, I got my advance parole, but if I understand correctly, it is too risky to travel to my country. Even the paper said to my return depends on immigration officer decision. Thank you. Okay, I know they have to say that, but in my experience, if you have an advance parole and when you travel and you come back, your case wasn't denied, everything is fine, you'll be fine. I've never had anybody turned away with advance parole. Never. Whoever traveled with advance parole, me personally, in our whole practice, never had anybody turned away. Travel and don't worry about it. Imran is asking, oops, Marina, too much time they're taking, but why process is quicker in New York compared to Baltimore? It's hard to say. Probably New York has more officers working there, and New York has more people working on the cases. That's it. Good morning, says Nader. Good morning. All right. I don't see any more questions. Please post your questions. Otherwise, you're going to have to listen to me talk. Maybe it's not so bad, huh? All right, so what else did I want to talk about? I just went to a really great conference this weekend in Orlando for attorneys who do sports immigration, meaning who I'm one of those attorneys and I'm in the association. It's a pretty small group. The reason I like that group is not that we do so many sports visas, although we do a lot. But it's not all we do in our practice. It's good to know about all the little kinks and little special things for exceptional ability people in other areas. It's the same rules, the same laws for sports and business and science and technology. So if you need a green card based on extraordinary or exceptional ability in your profession or arts or television or sports, we can definitely help you. I learned a lot, but there was really a good discussion about why there's so many really unfair and like baseless denials by USCIS. And this has to do with all of the cases. It's not just for sports cases. And I figured out from the discussion, and everyone contributed, two main reasons why things get denied unfairly. I'm not talking about people who really don't have enough evidence, but when they deny Olympic medalists for a green card, that starts to make you think, and then you say, okay, well, why don't you have better access for lawyers to be able to call you or email you and get more information? And there's two reasons for this. First of all, some people just deny everyone. They think that they're the gatekeepers for the United States. They're keeping all the bad people out, and sometimes they just keep everyone out, right? That's one reason. And two, the agency doesn't want to be too helpful to immigrants because they don't want to show that they're politically biased. They're on the side of immigrants. That's too much on the Democratic side. And the agency tries to stay neutral. They're neither Republican nor Democratic. They want to stay neutral, and sometimes that hurts immigrants. And of course, the third reason is that the agency is just badly managed. Bad leadership, bad management. They don't appoint really good professionals who know how to manage things. It's usually political appointments. It's whoever knows somebody, and it's not always a good manager in charge of the thing. Plus, they don't train their officers that well. So the legal standards that immigration has and has to be applied to cases don't really get followed by the people who are their officers and work for them. They don't have the right training. They're not lawyers. They don't get it, and it's really hard, So sometimes, by the way, sometimes you got denied, you appeal, you just have to sue. You bring lawsuits, and sometimes things will get approved. So if there's really nothing else to do, we do have lawsuits against the government. We do that. We bring lawsuits to federal court. Can I travel? Nader's asking, can I travel with advance parole for marriage with an asylum case? If you are not in court, if you are not in removal proceedings, your immigration case didn't reach immigration court, then yes, you can travel with your marriage advance parole, even with an open pending asylum case. If, however, your case is already in immigration court, you've had a notice to appear, and you're in immigration court, no, you cannot leave because you'll self-deport. And Nader says he's in Alexandria, Virginia. Oh, by the way, you might have a new court soon coming. Peggy says, good morning, I'm from Guyana, and my mother applied for me and my kids in 2019. How long do I have to wait? It depends if you're married. So I go to the website, Current Visa Bulletin, and I'm going to post that site here in 1 second in the comments. And here's the link. You'll see it in your comments in 1 second. And you look at the latest month for the bulletin. Right now they have September. Let's look at September 2022. Okay, if your mom filed and you said your mom filed for you in 2019, let's say you're married. Married sons and daughters of US citizens is category F3. F3, they're working on the year like 2009 now to collect documents. So if she filed 2019, we're talking about 10 more years approximately you have to wait. So it's been already 2 years, so like 7 more years you have to wait. And if you are single, you're not married, but you're divorced with kids, then you go in the first category, F1, and they're working on 2016, and you found 2019, it's about 3 more years of a wait. So that's how long the wait is, and unfortunately, those are both pretty long categories. All right, Kursun says for VAWA cases with advanced parole on the way back to USA, how often do they check phones? They can check for everyone. So make sure you have your phone, in good order. Okay, TG says don't try to travel with asylum case, advanced parole. Again, if you don't have, well, first of all, I don't recommend you go to your home country with your advanced parole. That is correct. I agree with TD. I didn't even think of that. But if you're going just maybe on vacation to Mexico or something like that, and you're not from Mexico, then you're fine to travel as long as you're not in immigration court. And yours says, thank you. Thank you for watching. Imran is asking for my phone number. It's passing on the bottom of the screen, 718-769-6352. Thank you. Bharat says, hello, I'm Bharat from India. My wife is in USA in the state of Ohio. She applied for me a petition I-730. That's to unify. So the wife probably won asylum and now filed the family asylum petition for asylum unification for Bharat. She filed in 2018, but still no updates. How long is the time? I'm going to my list that I put in the comments here. Feel free to copy and paste it in your own browser. And let's say you're from, your petition is going through Nebraska. It's taking less than 2 years. And if it's through Texas, it takes, you're probably in Texas, because in Texas it's taking about 25 and a half months. So that's over 2 years. But it seems like from what you're writing to me, it's already even longer than that. There's some sort of a problem. You have to let USCIS know. You go to the website and you make the case inquiry. Case inquiry, what's going on with your case? It's weird. Maybe it got lost. It's weird. It's been too long. You need to follow up. Yuri says, dear Marina, I'm your client and I received a work permit and advance parole. Oh, this is so nice. Thank you so much. And she wants to, or he wants to thank me for excellent work and help with VAWA case, but worried about travel. I think you're safe to travel, but if you're worried, you won't enjoy your trip. So if you really want to ask me what to do, I'm going to say it's up to you. I'm telling you, you're safe to travel. If you've never had a deportation or anything, but if you're worried, don't go, because then you'll be stressed the whole time and you won't enjoy your case. Yes, give us a call. We'll review your case before you travel. Build the wall, says Todd Stevens. Obviously doesn't like immigrants. All right. So on that note, I'm not going to end my show. Okay. I would like to answer more questions. I don't want to end on that note. Rudolph says, if I have an advanced parole and I have a waiver, can I travel, please? Yes, if you have an advanced parole, you don't have old deportations, you're not in deportation court, you can travel with advanced parole, even if it's a waiver case. Hello, my favorite lawyer, says Camouge. Hello. Rick says, I have a pending VAWA submitted in June, I guess June this year. I haven't gotten the biometrics, but I already received the prima facie after 2.5 months. Is this odd? No, it's not odd. It happens. But if you're worried, you can call the 1-800 number for USCIS, and you can find out why you still don't have your biometrics, and they will check, okay? And if you want to talk to them, my God, I should know the number by now. It's a 1-800 number. One 1-800-375-5283. It's the USCIS number. I'm going to post it in the comments. If you want to call, give your receipt number and say that you still don't have your biometrics, that you need your biometrics. And I just posted the phone number, okay? Amit says, hi, Marina. I had my VAWA cancellation of order removal approved by an immigration judge. Oh, congratulations. On August 9. We filed the VAWA cancellation of removal in 2019. Government prosecutors have declined. Declined what? Here. There's more. To appeal. Judge wrote that I will be issued a green card pending availability. When will I get my green card? Will I be able to travel? And when will I be able to travel? Oh, first of all, congratulations. You definitely will get your green card. I have no doubt about it. Sometimes it takes a long time when the court does the order to USCIS to issue a green card. It might take a few months. Just be patient. You cannot travel yet. I wouldn't travel in your case until you get the green card in hand. Just keep following up with your attorney. If anything, you can write the letter to the court. This is very recent. It happened less than a month ago. So I wouldn't even write them for maybe another month or even 2, just to see what happens. But hopefully you will get it within the next couple of months. Frank says, hi, I received a prima facie for his VAWA a few days ago. What is next after that? Frank, I want to tell everyone about prima facie, and yourself included, because this is a really good opportunity to do so. When somebody files for VAWA, USCIS does like an initial review of the case, not really looking into the case, but seeing if the paperwork you provided on the surface is enough to get this case processed and approved. When they look at it and they see that you gave them proof of the marriage certificate, you gave them a police clearance, and you gave them a short story about the abuse, that's enough to get the preliminary pre-approval. It's called prima facie approval. Why they do this? Why do they issue this letter to you? You can use this letter for many government benefits programs in your state. You can use it maybe for like a tax form called innocent spouse relief if your spouse screwed up your tax history. You can use this letter for housing or something like that. So they give this letter as your protection to show, hey, your case is being reviewed. It looks okay on the surface. That's what prima facie means. The next step is, I hope that your lawyer filed for a green card and work permit for you. You'll get your work permit. VAWA case, as I said earlier in the show, takes about 26 months from the date you filed to approval. You might also receive something called request for evidence from the Vermont Service Center, from the humanitarian unit. They will review your VAWA and say, oh, we need more evidence of this, or we need more proofs of the marriage. You might get that or not. It depends how much your lawyer put in the package. I definitely recommend that you submit a psychologist letter, that you go to a doctor, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, and that you have trauma that the doctor will confirm is there. And you should be able to win in about 26 months for VAWA. And then the green card takes another 6 months from there. All right, that was my phone number that I posted. Amit says, thank you. Jonathan says, after cancellation of removal, will the immigration judge send a letter confirming cancellation of removal? It depends. If you got like regular cancellation of removal, not the VAWA one, then they will wait until visa is available, and they will probably call your lawyer and ask them to come in person to write the order, not to mail it. But some judges actually will just call your lawyer and say, we will mail it. So it depends. You got to follow up. Imran says, many thanks, Marina. You're my attorney now. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Nader says, thank you for your help. Do you have any information about the Potomac Service Center in Virginia? Which month they're working on? I applied for a marriage green card. Marriage green card, I assume you're asking me about processing times for I-130. Processing times for the I-130. Let's look at the I-485. And I assume you live in Virginia, family-based. Potomac. Well, is it in the list? It's not in the list. But what do we have for Virginia? Vermont. Trying to find anything in Virginia. I don't see it. On the average, in Ohio, for example, it's taking 12 and a half months. Some places 12 months, some places 18 months. It depends where you live, all right? On this note, I will wrap up today's show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. Every week, I'm motivated to do this for you guys, and I'm really happy that you guys are watching and paying attention. Thank you for your time that you take out of your married life, in your busy life. I said married because I see a question. Last question. Fatima says, I got married for 2 months to a U.S. citizen, but my husband is not applying for me for anything. However, I'm also facing some mental constraints. Am I eligible for VAWA with short period? If the mental constraints are because of your husband, he's abusing you, yes, you are. You are eligible. The phone number is on the bottom of the screen. Give us a call. Good day, good weekend to everyone. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.